Hey everyone, it's Elisa with AK Educational Consulting, and I am back today to share our first activity around empathy and compassion. So, empathy and compassion are our April social emotional learning theme for the month. And if you missed the introduction, then please go back and watch that video, and you'll just get a quick little insight into what empathy and compassion really are, what it looks like in our kids, some definitions that you can use with kids. Today, I'm sharing an activity that is from one of my favorite resources, Big Life Journal, and you can see it here on the screen. I will also link it in the notes. The activity is called Walk the Line. So, if you have seen the movie Freedom Writers, then you have seen this activity in action. So you have right in front of you on the screen directions, but I'll kind of walk through and give you a few little tips. So you're basically putting a line of masking tape or duct tape down the middle of a room. So a classroom, a room, at aftercare or camp or whatever applies to, the group of kids that you work with. And you're going to have kids on each side of the line. It doesn't really matter who's who on which side of the line, and they're each facing the line. So both of your groups are facing the line, and you're going to read a series of statements that you've come up with in advance. And these statements are going to be things like, I've lost a family member, I've been bullied at school, my parents are divorced, anything that kids can relate to that may be kind of a tougher situation. Okay. Another great tip for this activity is to have the students or the kids help you create the prompts. Okay. So they can come up with, what are some difficult situations that they have dealt with in their lives, and just write it down. They're all going to be I something statements. So as you go through and read each of these statements one at a time, if that statement is true for a student, then they move from their spot on each side of the line and they go and they stand on the line. So, what is really the purpose of this? This is going to help kids see that they are not alone in their struggles, right? Oftentimes, our kids, especially older kids, and this is really an activity that I would suggest doing with kids maybe 10 and up. You can definitely make it work for younger kids, but the way that I'm describing it, I would recommend 10 and up. A lot of kids in that age group feel like they are the first person on the face of the planet, right, to lose a family member or to have somebody say something really unkind to them at school or to experience whatever it is they're experiencing. And as parents, maybe you can relate to this, kind of talking your kids through these situations and helping them to understand that this happens day after day after day. And that doesn't make it better, but it does help them to feel less alone, less like I'm the only person this has ever happened to, and I can't maybe share it with somebody or I can't talk about it. So we're helping them to see their similarities, their commonalities in experiences. So after you have read each statement and the kids that it's true for move to that middle line, then it's sort of like look around, you can talk about each one or not, and then they go back to their spots and you read the next statement and you continue until you've read through every statement. Now, you can extend this activity by having them do some sort of writing afterwards or journaling. A couple of activities or extension activities that are given here in this actual blog are to have them write a letter to one of the students who walked the line on one of the statements that they did as well. Maybe they could share the experience, their experience with them. Maybe they could offer words of encouragement. They don't actually have to deliver this letter. They could, depending on what you're having them write. You could also have them write a letter to themselves about the experience. You could just have them journal and write their thoughts on the activity in general and what they got out of it. So what were their thoughts afterwards? Did they realize that, wow, a lot of kids have kind of walked these same experiences that I've walked, and I was surprised by that. Or, yeah, it's what I expected. So there are a lot of different ways you could incorporate writing into this. You could also do this through discussion rather than writing afterwards and let them kind of open it up to discussing what their thoughts were, what were, things that were surprising to them, what was not surprising to them. And none of this, whether it's writing or discussion, needs to be directly aimed at certain kids, just sort of in general. Um, do they feel a little less alone in their experiences? How does that make them feel knowing that so many other kids have been bullied before or had experienced, this difficult thing in life. So this is just such a great activity. I'm really excited to hear from those of you who do try this. So please reach out. I'd love to hear your experiences. And I really hope that you will continue joining me here during this month of April as we look at a whole bunch more strategies, tips, activities for building empathy and compassion in our kids. So until next time, I hope that you have a great day.